feel the presence of God? Why do good things
Why
happen
do
to
good
bad
things
people?
happen to bad people?
Why would God love a person like me? Why do bad people always
Why am I here?
Why am I here?
Why am I here?
Why doesn't God answer my
Why
prayer?
doesn't God answer my prayer?
Thank you. It's good on my iPhone to throw it down. Now I want to welcome you to a live church. I'm so glad you guys are here. And I always love it when you walk in and people tell me, I see why you named this a live church. It's alive. But the reality is, the reason we named it a live church, because there is a verse about Jesus that says he is no longer in the tomb. He's no longer dead. He is alive. And we are alive in him. So that's why this is named a live church, because we walk in that. Well, I want to tell you, I want to welcome our other camps as well. It's our last week to broadcast over to Twin Peaks. You guys are awesome, and there are some baptisms going on over there. The next service, we've had them here last night and in this service. And I know for some of you, the enemy wants to just keep you from taking that next step in your spiritual journey. And as we talked about last week, this is such an important one, that you're publicly being recognized and identifying yourself with Christ, and we are joining in his death and resurrection. And so I know the enemy wants to keep you from doing that. And for us as pastors here and as a church, it's our passion to always just eliminate barriers for people growing and becoming fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ. So today on both our campuses, here's what I'm doing. If you said, I'd like to be baptized, but I'm not ready, I'm going to help you get ready. So if you would still like to be baptized on either campus, I have clothes for you today. Okay, I have a t-shirt. We have them. We got larges, the extra larges, yes. We have shorts for you. And some of you going, you don't have my size. We have all the way up to extra large with a pull string for all the small people as well. Okay? And we have a towel. I think the only thing we forgot was underwear. Next time, I promise, we will have packets of new underwear. But here's what I'd like for you to do. Seriously, if you're ready to take that next step and you've been saying, I'm not ready today. It's time. You're a follower of Christ. Take the next step. Go find, right now, if you go out into the lobbies, our campus pastors are out there, Jason or Joel, elder over at Twin Peaks. They'll get you set up, and right after I'm done teaching, we're going to baptize again. If you're ready to go on this campus, Mike or one of the elders, they're right out here in the lobby. Last night we had somebody do it. I'm telling you, it's powerful. And he told me afterwards, he's been through our classes. He said, Jeff, I've been putting it off. I had the excuse of no clothes. He said, when you picked up the clothes, he said, it's time to take the next step. So go ahead and do that, and we're going to celebrate with you at the end of the service, okay? Right? A live church, we are just going to keep trying our best to remove the barriers that the enemy wants to put in the way of all of us in our growth with Jesus Christ. He's doing that, isn't he? He wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And I'm telling you, we're in this battle, and we're just going to do everything we can. So if you'd like to invest in baptism packets, next time we'll have underwear for you're investing in them, okay? We're just going to do it. And I got to tell you, I committed this week. I told the staff, I said, I'll go pick out the clothes or whatever. And I said, I'm going to make sure this happens. And I can't tell you how all week long the enemy just stole my time and everything, all the way down to yesterday. My wife and I were out, and we said, we got to do this. We're going to do it as a last-minute thing to finally get it here. But we're going to do this. Right, gang? I'm going to fight the good fight. Well, we're in this new series, and the series is called Why. Everybody say why. Why is it that sometimes we're going to start, and that you can see in your notes, the talk notes there, the questions we're going to wrestle with over the next few weeks. But my question that we want to wrestle with today is, why is it that I don't always feel close to God? Because sometimes we feel close to God, sometimes maybe we don't feel close to God. And yet, Jesus said this. He said, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. Anybody glad for that? Yeah. Man, I am. How many of you, let me ask you a couple questions here. On all of our campuses, I want you to respond. How many of you would say, I believe at one point in my life, I have felt God's presence? Let me see your hands. Yeah, and some of you, if you're new to being at church or Christianity, you're going, boy, these are a bunch of wacky people. Woo. Let me ask you another question. How about today? How many of you would say, I'll be honest, I felt God's presence today in the service I'm at? Yeah, so some of you lift your hands, some of you say, I'm not really sure. Now, what I'd like you to do is give me some feedback, and we're going to wrestle with this. Take out your phones, text me, Twitter me, Facebook me. Those of you online, you can just type it into the chat room. Phil, make sure I get this. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being I never feel God's presence, 10, I feel like I just feel it all the time. How close do you feel to God, and why? And then let's just jump into that question. Now, for some of you, you're going, well, how do I know I'm feeling God's presence? Now, there are some of you as followers of Christ, you'd say, I know I'm feeling God's presence because when His presence comes into my life, and when He's all around me, I start to cry. And I know that's God's presence. And others would say, I had a lot of people that say, well, man, I just get this warm feeling. And I know that's God's presence. Now, I want to spend a few minutes just looking at the biblical way and reasons of understanding how we know that we're in God's presence and that we can flow in that and live in that all of our lives. I don't want to just be mean here, but honestly, I've watched my wives, it's funny. I only have one. I've only had one. I always tell people when I first meet them, they'll say, how many kids you have? And I say, I have 4 by my second, never mind. I've only had one wife, Kathy. Anyway, I've watched my wife cut up onions, and she cries. You see, you can cry, and it has nothing to do with God's presence. And some people, the big thing is, I just get that warm feeling. Honestly, I've had that same warm feeling when I go to the bathroom in the pool. I've never done that in my pool. I've done it in some of yours, but sometimes we equate those things with God's presence, and that's not it. Jesus said, I am with you always. Some of you say, well, wait a minute. I don't feel anything. I'm at a place right now, I'm in this service, I didn't feel anything. Well, whose fault is it? Let's talk about that. And let's look at some biblical reasons and possibilities. If you have your talk notes, write this down. Maybe you are over-sensationalizing it. Maybe you're over-sensationalizing it. You know, we tend to do this thing where it's like Star Wars, and we went, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. God, I just want to feel this. And yet Jesus said He's with us always. Christ followers, Jesus followers in the New Testament, they were following Him, and they said, we want to see the miracles. That's what it's about. We want to see you do them, Jesus. Look at this in John chapter 6. Jesus told them, this is the only work God wants from you. All of our campuses, Twin Peaks, those of you online, let's read this out loud together. Believe in the one He has sent. Notice this. He didn't say, this is the work I want you to be about, the miracles. Now, was Jesus, He did a lot of miracles. What He said was, this is it. Believe in the one He has sent, in Jesus Christ. They answered, now they didn't get it. They're standing right there with Jesus, and they still didn't get it. How do we know that? Look at the rest of the verse. They answered, show us a miraculous sign if you want us to believe in you. Anybody, as you're reading that, don't you feel just a little bit of duh? Everybody say duh. Yeah, my kids aren't allowed to say it to me, but don't you feel that when you're reading Scripture? Duh. Come on, really, guys? You're standing with Jesus, the creator of the universe. He's done all these miracles, and hey, do one more, and then we'll believe in you. What can you do? In other words, wow us. Show us something incredible. Give us that, impress us, Jesus. And some of us, honestly, that's how we live our lives. All the way from those of you who've been followers of Christ for 20 years, 30 years, to the one who just walked in the door and you don't know Jesus. And you're going, that's how I know it's God's presence. Wow me. Sometimes we kind of get in God's face about this. I love this. There's a movie about a guy named Bruce, and he kind of gets in God's face about, just wow me, Lord. I want you to watch this.
Okay, God. You want me to talk to you? Talk back. Tell me what's going on. What should I do? Give me a signal. I need your guidance, Lord. Please send me a sign. Oh, what's this joker doing now? Okay. All right. I'll try it your way. All right. Lord, I need a miracle. I'm desperate. I need your help, Lord. Please reach into my life. What the hell? Yeah. I got you. Hey! Fine! The gloves are off, pal! Come on, let me see a little rat. Smite me, almighty smiter! You're the one who should be fired! The only one around here not doing his job is you! Answer me!
Let me ask you a question. Would you agree that God was pretty much giving Bruce a sign? You know, we look at that and we're like, I want those kind of signs. Well, God has given us, I mean, he's all around us. In fact, Romans says that all of the nature is proclaiming his glory and that we are without excuse for knowing him because his presence is here. He's among us. He's with us. And he tells us that. The only thing I don't like about that scene is we cut it just a little short for time, but the very next scene, there's a light coming and you feel like it's God coming into Bruce's light and he gets run over by a semi-truck. Oh, that's great. I couldn't work that into the message though, so. Now, some of you are going, well, wait a minute, Jeff, you telling me you don't believe in miracles? That's not what I'm saying. In fact, I totally believe in miracles. God works in our lives in that way. A lot of times, he's a God of wonders and miracles. In fact, I have a friend, he's in this service. He's been one of my prayer partners for years, Mac. And a few weeks ago, he was diagnosed with cancer again. He was getting ready to go in for surgery. It was right there on the x-rays. We prayed for him, and we prayed for God's healing. Why? Because we believe that God is the God of miracles and wonders. They went ahead and did the surgery, and they got in there and like, there's no cancer. We saw it. It's not here. Yes, I believe. But if that's all you're looking for God's presence, you may be missing his presence a lot of your life because it's good to experience him that way. Aren't you glad sometimes when it comes with that and your faith? But it's not always that. Why don't I always feel God's presence? Maybe